Hello, participants. A warm welcome to all of you. Myself, Dr. Alka Sharma. I'm Associate Professor in JNPG College, Lucknow, affiliated with Lucknow University. Today, I'm going to deliver a lecture which based on the general theory of fiber optics. I will also discuss some research aspect related to this theory. Over the last 3 decades, considerable research work has been done in the field of fiber optics and optical communication in view of their vast application. The channel used in optical communication is the optical waveguide. In order to understand the mechanism of wave propagation through an optical waveguide, it is necessary to have some historical background on the subject. In ancient times, people used pigeons, runners, drumbeat, and torches, etc., for the transfer of messages from one place to another. But these ways of transmission of signals are not much reliable and cannot be used for the long communication distances. Only a limited amount of information could be carried using the aforesaid methods. The modern age of communication was started with the invention of telegraph and telephone. Alexander Graham Bell invented the photophone in 1880. The basic principle used in the photophone was the property of rectilinear propagation of light, means light ray travel the straight line path until it is not reflected by something. Voice can be communicated through the air as a beam of light. The quality of photophone transmission was not so good as the already accepted telephonic communication. The reason of this, in the transmission of signal, there were many climatic disturbances like rain, snow, fog, cloud, etc. Ultimately, photophones could not be practiced. In 1960, the invention of gas and solid state laser proved the relevancy of optical field communication. This device provides a powerful coherent light source which can also be modulated at extremely high frequency. Initially, this new technology was used in broadcasting systems. The medium of transmission was air, hence same climatic disturbances were also observed in that case. The concept of optical communication through the optical fiber waveguides came in 1970. Capron, Keck and Maurer of the Corning Glass Lab USA made a spectacular progress in the fabrication of high purity silica glass for the fiber optics applications. Here I have shown you the block diagram of an optical waveguide communication system. In optical communication system, it is very much similar to the traditional communication system and has three major components: transmitter and channel and receiver. A transmitter converts electrical signal into light signals, and optical fiber transmit the signal, and a receiver it captures the signal at the other end of the fiber and convert them to electrical signal. Again, this was the receiver, this is the transmitter, and this one is a channel. An optical fiber we used as a form of a channel. The transmitter consists of a light source supported by necessary derived circuits. A transducers, this one, it converts a non-electrical message into the electrical signal and is fed to the light source. The light source is a miniature source, either a light emitting diode or a semiconductor laser we used as a light source. In either case, light is emitted in the infrared range with a wavelength of 850 nanometer or 1300 nanometer or 1550 nanometer, 1.55 micrometer. The light wave are modulated with the signal with the help of this modulator. By varying the intensity of light beam from the laser diode or LED, analog modulation is achieved. By flashing the laser light or LED on and off at an extremely fast rate, digital modulation is achieved. So we can achieve both analog and digital modulation. A pulse of light represents the number 1 and the absence of light is specified with the 0. The message can be transmitted by a particular sequence of these 1 or zeros. If the receiver is programmed to recognize such digital pattern, it can construct the original message. Though the digital modulation requires more complicated equipment such as encoder, decoder, and also more bandwidth than analog modulation. So this is the advantage of digital modulation, that it has more bandwidth. It allows greater transmission distance with a same power. This is the next advantage. That's why it is very popular and widely used nowadays. The transmitter feed the analog or digitally modulated signal wave to the transmitter channel, this one, namely optical fiber link, this one. The optical signal traveling through the fiber will get attenuated progressively and distorted due to the dispersion effects. Therefore, repeaters are to be used at a specific interval to regenerate the signal. At the end of the fiber, an output coupler directs the light from the fiber onto a semiconductor photodiodes, which convert the light signal again into the electrical signals. The photodetector converts the light waves into the electrical signals, which are then amplified and decoded to obtain the messages. The output is fed to the suitable transducers to convert it into the audio or video form. So, this is the optical waveguide communication system. But when the signal goes through the channel, many problem arises through this channel, optical fiber channel. Apart from a distortion of signal because of the dispersion, etc., a major problem is the attenuation of signal as a result of absorption and scattering, which we will discuss later. Techniques for measuring the absorption and scattering in optical waveguides fiber have been studied by many scientists in recent years. In 1986, Ghatak, a scientist, published a review paper on the electromagnetic information. Over the decades of 1960 to 1990, a considerable development of waveguide fabrication has been made in the view of its great utility in the field of communication and integrated optics. Now, what are the advantages of optical fiber in integrated optics and the communication system? The signal through the optical fiber are carried by light waves, and it can be easily seen that optical fiber have some special advantages over the other channels used in electrical communications. A major advantage is the high frequency range. The major advantage of optical system is the high frequency range, that is the range of 10 to the power 13 Hz to 10 to the power 16 Hz, in which it works. It offers wide bandwidth. Thus, much more information can be transmitted by the optical fiber than an electrical wire over a long distances without losing much power. A 1 mm optical fiber can transmit 50,000 calls. The next important property is insulating property. Optical fibers are fabricated from electrically insulating materials like glass or a plastic polymers, etc., and they are immune from electromagnetic interference. Due to this property, optical fibers are suitable for communication in electrically hazardous environment. The next, absence of interference. In optical fiber, information is carried in the form of an electromagnetic wave at optical frequency. Since optical fibers are fabricated from insulating materials, and have same dimension and have dimension much smaller than the wavelength of radio waves and microwaves. So they do not pick up these radiations and are therefore free from electromagnetic radio frequency interference. The crosstalk is also negligible in the absence of interference. Low transmission loss and security of signal. To maintain the strength of signal, the losses must be reduced. Effort has been made by the scientists and technologists over the last 20 decades to reduce attenuation. Now, it is possible to develop optical fiber cables which have an attenuation loss that is as low as zero point 0.2 dB per kilometer. We take the wavelength 1.55 mm. Since the radiation of light from an optical fiber is negligible, so it offers a high signal security. Due to this property, it is very useful in sensitive services like military, banking, railways, etc. Next important property, size and weight of the fiber. The diameter of an optical fiber is very small. It is the order of few micron and is less than that of a human hair. Optical fibers are much smaller in size and much lighter than corresponding copper cables. Optical fibers are fabricated from easily available raw materials like sand, so they offer a low cost line communication. Optical fibers are flexible, compact, and rugged.
Now you can see in this slide low transmission loss, size and weight of fiber, cost and flexibility. Already I have explained you the detail of this topic with previous slide.
In this slide, I have shown you geometry of an optical fiber. An optical waveguide is an important component of an optical communicating system. An optical waveguide usually has a cylindrical shape with a circular cross section, and this kind of waveguide is known as the optical fiber. An optical waveguide is capable of propagating electromagnetic energy in the direction parallel to its axis. As the name implies, optical waveguides can be operated at optical frequencies, that is, at frequencies in the infrared or visible portion of electromagnetic spectrum. These waveguides are made of some dielectric materials like transparent glass or plastic. Well, the typical cross-sectional diameter lie between 0.125 and 0.5 millimeter. In this figure, it shows the geometry of an optical fiber. It consists of two parts, namely the core and cladding. The central part of the optical waveguide is known as the core of waveguide and its refractive index is N1. This core is surrounded by the another cylinder called cladding, and the region has a refractive index N2. The refractive index of cladding N2 is slightly lower than the refractive index of core, that is N1 greater than N2 slightly. To preserve the strength of the fibers, they are normally coated with a protective soft plastic coating as a primary coating, followed by the another harder and tighter secondary coating named as the jacket.
Here I have shown you the transmission of signal in optical fiber. This figure shows the basic concept of the total internal reflection as the angle greater than the critical angle in the denser medium. So the refracted rays suffer in the same medium, and we say it is a total internal reflection, and in figure it is very clear to you. Here the concept of propagation of signal in optical fiber as due to the multiple total internal reflection and in the step index fiber. In the next figure it is shown by the diagram.
Now the concept, how the light ray travel, how the transmission of signal occur in optical fiber. So before discussing it, let me discuss about the concept of total internal reflection. You know it very well in this slide, you can see it. When the angle of incident in denser medium is greater than the critical angle in the third ray, light ray suffers the total internal reflection. When the light ray injected through the air core interface of fiber is incident at the core cladding interface at an angle greater than critical angle for that interface, it will suffer total internal reflection. So light ray travel in the medium in the optical fiber due to the multiple total internal reflection. Now focus on this diagram, transmission of signal I have shown in this diagram. Let us consider a step index optical fiber into a light is launched at its one end. The end at which light enter the fiber is called the launching end. In the step index fiber, the refractive index changes abruptly from the core to the cladding. Now we consider two rays entering the fiber at two different angles of incident. The ray shown by the broken line is incident at an angle theta 2 with respect to the axis of fiber. Clearly you can see it. The ray broken line, it make angle theta 2 with the axis of core, axis of fiber. This ray undergoes refraction at a point A on the interface between air and core. The ray reflects into the fiber at an angle theta 1. Clearly you can see theta 1 in the core region, where theta 1 is less than theta 2 because it is the angle of refraction. The ray reaches the core cladding interface at point B. At point B, refraction takes place again and the ray travel into the cladding. Finally, at point C, the ray refract once again and emerge out the fiber into the air. It means that the ray does not propagate through the fiber. This ray represented by the again broken line. Next, we consider the ray shown by the solid line. The ray incident at an angle theta make with the axis of the core undergoes refraction at point A on the interface and propagate at an angle theta c in the fiber. Clearly you can see it, theta c. At point D, the core cladding interface, the ray undergoes total internal reflection because the refractive index of the cladding slightly lower than the refractive index of core. Let us assume that the angle of incident at the core cladding interface is the critical angle phi c, where phi c is given by, it is sine inverse n2 upon n1. It is shown in the fifth point in this slide. And the critical angle theta c, we can determine it. It depends on the refractive index and it is equal to sine inverse n2 upon n1. So this is the propagation of signal through the optical fiber. It is very clear it is due to the total internal reflection. Well, I have already explained you in the previous slide about the propagation of signal in optical fiber, step index optical fiber. Commonly, we have two types of fiber and are used according to the material composition of the core. These fibers are step index fiber and graded index fiber. Here I have shown about the step index fiber. This is the diagram. The optical characteristics of the fibers are determined by the refractive index variation in the various regions. The refractive index NR is circularly symmetric and depends only upon the radial coordinate r. The simplest type of structure which is used generally is the one in which the refractive index of core N1 is uniform over the core region, and the cladding has the refractive index N2 which is slightly lower than N1. The refractive index profile of such a fiber is expressed as NR is equal to N1, R is less than A, N2, R is greater than A. In the previous slide, you must see the diagram. Clearly, it is shown that the core has the refractive index constant N1, and outside the core region we have the cladding region, and its refractive index is slightly lower than the refractive index of core. So the refractive index of the core region is uniform everywhere in the core, and the cladding is also constant everywhere in the cladding region. The refractive index profile makes a step change at the core cladding boundary. Thus, such an optical fiber is known as the step index fiber. Second type, graded index fiber. In this type of fiber, the refractive index of core is not uniformly constant, but varies with the radial distance r. The core refractive index attains a maximum value N1 at the axis of core and decreases with the radial distance r up to a constant value N2 beyond the core, radius A in the cladding. The variation of refractive index's graded index fiber is given by NR is equal to N1 1 minus 2 delta R upon A power alpha whole power half for the core region, N1 1 minus 2 delta power half is equal to N2 for the cladding region, where delta is equal to N1 minus N2 upon N1 is the relative core cladding index, and alpha is the profile parameter which represents the profile shape. Here I have shown the diagram of the graded index fiber. Here we have a core with a refractive index varying from a large value at the center to a smaller one at the core cladding boundary. The result of this is that ray with steeper angles spend more time in region of low refractive index and hence travel faster than they would in the guide with a uniform index. This speeds up the slower modes and hence reduce the modal dispersion. In both diagram, I have shown you about the graded index fiber. Clearly shown the value alpha is equal to 1, 2 to 10. N1, the refractive index of core at axis. In the second diagram, N1 is the refractive index of core is N1 at the center at the axis, and it decreases up to the cladding region. Clearly it is shown in the diagram. Now you see in the figure, here we have a core with a refractive index varying from a large value at the center to the smaller one at the core cladding boundary. The result of this is that the ray with steeper angles spend more time in region of low refractive index and hence travel faster than they would in a guide with a uniform step index. This speed up the slower modes and hence reduces the mode dispersion. Now you see the alpha profile. If alpha is equal to 1 in this diagram, a triangular profile, and if alpha is equal to 2, we have a parabolic profile. The different refractive index profile are shown in figure. These graded index fibers are used in the majority of multimode optical fiber communication systems.